Right, it's very important that we consider and care for the environment around us.
Indeed.
We might need to make sure that we are protecting all of the things. Here are some things that we've watched.
Oh, yes, in their natural habitat and everything.
Very important that we look after each of these things. And here are some things that we've played with.
Oh, wonderful. It's lovely to see them, really a healthy part of their ecosystem.
Indeed. And over here, careful, just if you crouch down very low, look here, just under this bush, just some things that we've listened to.
I'll make sure not to spook them.
They are very easily startled.
But they'll be back.
And they breed like goodness knows what. Now, over here, just if you peer through the thicket just over there. Now, just see on the far side?
Oh, yes, I've got my binoculars. I think I can see.
There's a couple of queer trans ladies.
Oh, wonderful. Definitely have to make sure we conserve those and keep them safe.
Indeed, it's vitally important that they are protected and cared for.
Wonderful.
Indeed. And now, if you look, just a whole grove of skits.
Oh, wonderful. Nature's so wonderful.
Indeed. This is the joy of being a queer and pleasant ranger. Gotcha! Greetings, strangers, queer and pleasant. I'm not Laura Kate Dale.
And I'm not Jane Aerith Magnet. And welcome to another episode of Queer and Pleasant Strangers. It's a podcast where two queer trans ladies talk about bits of media we have consumed in the week and have a bit of a catch-up and some time together just talking words.
Talking words.
Yeah. How are you doing this content consumption-based week?
I'm sleepy.
Same. It's a tiring week.
It's a tiring week of
Yes,
sleepiness, and it's only Tuesday.
I know. How is it only Tuesday? It feels so much further into the week.
That is the question. How is it only Tuesday?
How is it? Well, we've done some things with our week which will explain part of how we've gotten from one Tuesday to another. We did some things. Some of those things were things we played.
Mm-hmm.
What have we played this week?
Games. We played some board games.
We did. Do you want to start with... Should we start with Terraforming Mars?
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, it might take us a while. Just to terraform all of Mars during
Well, we'll just talk about the board game Terraforming Mars.
Okay, yeah. So it's a game for 1 to 5 players, I believe. I can't imagine playing this single player. Although I understand it's like just a score attack.
Yeah, definitely works better if you've got someone to play against, I think.
You play as corporations with the mutual goal of making Mars warm, wet, and breathable atmosphere.
Yeah, you got to raise the temperature, the oxygen, and the level of water on the planet.
Yeah, 9
and
oceans.
Along the way, you're trying to terraform the planet as much as possible in a way that will benefit your corporation.
Indeed. So you get for every forest you put down, you will be raising the oxygen level, so you get bonuses for that.
Yeah.
But then there's also things like importing methane from other planets.
Or just starting to get pets on Mars, or building cities, and ultimately, the game ends when you have got the temperature, the oxygen, and the water up to a certain level. And early on, there's incentive for you to push those scores up because you get points for raising those numbers.
Mm.
But as you get closer to the end, you start this interesting dance between the players of, look, when those last 4 water tiles go down, the game's going to be over. How many points can we get before someone pushes the button and...
Are you ready for the game to end?
Yeah, it's very dancing back and forth, trying to rack up points as best you can before someone goes, and I build 2 more water tiles and everything's done.
Boom! Game over. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. You have a hand of cards, which you have to you do research for. So you will be given 4 cards to choose from at the beginning of a round. And you pay for the ones you want to research, and the rest go in a discard pile.
You can take as many as you like, or as few as you like, but you pay for the ones you take. You've got a salary. At the start of every time, you've got several resources that you collect. You get sort of a salaried amount of, so you get money, you get steel, you get titanium, you get some plants, you get energy, you get heat. And you can sort of do things like build certain buildings that might let you, say, increase your financial production, or how many plants you produce each turn.
Mm.
Basically, how many free resources do you get at the start of each round?
Or resources, if you will.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff to balance in this. There is the actual terraforming of the planet, There is point scoring cards to have on the table.
Mhm.
There is getting cards on the table that let you do new actions that you previously couldn't do. There's trying to increase your production of certain resources so that later things will be easier.
There's, have you got enough of a certain thing that you can claim an award?
Yes.
Or a research goal?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of awards on the table that are like, hey, the first person to build 3 bits of greenery can go for this and get some points at the end of the game, or
3 cities.
do you think you're going to have the most thermal production by the end of the game? You can sort of guess that you're going to get that, and if you're correct, you get a bunch of points at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different options on the table at any one time.
Lots of ways to try and score points.
The first few rounds of that first game, we definitely had a bit of paralysis of, there's so many things we could be doing, and I don't know which things are useful.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones that really relies on a test game.
Yeah, you need to have a game that you don't mind that you're not going to know what you're doing, because before you're halfway through it, you'll be like, I understand what is helpful and what is not. You just have to kind of make some choices and see what happens.
I mean, you could probably play some kind of short game where you do, here are half the goals.
Yeah.
See how you do by the end of it.
We've done that with certain board games before. We've gone a few turns in and gone, I understand what I'm doing now, let's start from scratch.
Yeah, can we start again? Because I've just worked out
what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah, some things that I'd sort of messed about early in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a test game, or at least whatever your first game of something is, being willing to go, doesn't matter if I don't win.
Yeah, exactly.
Just an understanding of this is a learning game, and that's fine.
It's a good beefy game. It took us, somewhere in the 2+ hour, 2.5 hours?
I think the first game took about 3 hours.
Yeah, the second one was about probably 2.5 hours still, I think.
Thereabouts, yeah.
Yeah, it is a decently lengthy game. But
It's got some good weight to it.
It never feels like it's dragging, though.
No, I mean, it moves pretty quickly.
Individual turns are fast enough that it will pretty consistently get back to, okay, time for me to do some shit again.
Yeah, I'm not sure if how that would be affected by playing with more people.
Yeah.
But playing just in 2 players, which I had heard wasn't super great.
We had a lot of fun playing in 2...
Hey, Cab!
A cab, indeed. I had a lot of fun, but that's the thing. I imagine with more people and a longer wait between getting back to your turn, but I suppose also you'd have fewer turns, because more of the terraforming would be done by other people. So I don't think it would increase the game length that much, but You
can always throw the extra cards in.
Yeah,
there's that whole, quarter of a deck of corporation cards.
Yeah, but I mean, the temperature and oxygen are probably still going to rise in as many actions. Just fewer of them will be yours, I would guess.
It's very hard to say.
Yeah. When things are back to normal, I'm excited to try this with a larger group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a fun little game about terraforming Mars. The fact that you have the starter corporations. So it's if you're playing a starter, you get a set amount of money, which is higher than most of the normal corporations, and you get 10 free cards at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, you don't have to pay to keep any of your starting 10.
And the manual says that you can very easily mix and match players who are going to go with a basic starting corporation and players who are going to go with one of the more advanced ones.
Yeah.
And there's even more advanced ones with the little symbol on for adding in. And it's basically hey, this corporation, you'll start with less money, but you can pay a certain amount to get extra points that will be bonuses later.
Yeah.
You had the one where you got all sorts of energy bonuses.
Anytime I was building power plants of any kind, I got them for cheaper, which was really nice.
Mm-hmm. Which means you got to put the heat on real quick.
Oh yeah, that was where I was trying to rack up early points, was just crank that heat up real fast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I had fun with Terraforming Mars.
I had fun. I would be very up for playing more of that.
We played a 3-hour game on Saturday, and then Sunday we're like, I'll play another game of that.
Let's play it again.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Should we talk about the other board game that we played this weekend?
Yeah, so we've talked a fair bit over the last few weeks about Legendary Encounters Alien. It's come up a few times.
It's that deck builder where you play against the deck and the aliens are trying to murder you all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And we got an expansion for it.
We did.
What's the expansion called?
It's called Legendary Encounters Alien Expansion.
Aha! Well then.
It basically adds a bunch of extra cards. So I think it's got like 400 cards.
Yes.
So it brings the total with the original up to 1,000 cards.
There's a lot of cards in that game.
There's a lot of cards in that game.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 whole new scenarios.
Yeah.
Then you have hard versions of those scenarios.
Yeah.
You have hard versions of all the original scenarios from the original game.
Mm-hmm.
You have like 6 new characters, I think it is.
Yep.
There's like it might be more than that actually. It might be 7 new characters. So I think there's 2 per film of extra characters in there. And then there's Ellen Ripley, who is like this weird combo. She's got depending on which cards you pull out of that particular player deck, she's got icons for all 4 films.
Ooh.
So she would blend in with all the others quite well.
Yeah.
But it having looked at it, was like, maybe not for the game we're playing.
Yeah.
It feels like a very all-rounder type of thing, and I would rather have some more specific things.
Yes, as we'll get into in a second.
Because the new scenarios are nailed hard.
Even not on hard mode, they are slightly terrifying.
Yeah. We have a chest buster. Okay.
Yeah, we were playing when we're on the third of the 3 acts. You can just get a chest burster thrown into your deck and like, oh, that's there now. If I don't deal with it somehow before it gets to the top of the deck, my character just dies.
Yeah, so we might have stacked the barracks in our favour.
I think we stacked the barracks a reasonable amount.
We picked 4 characters that we thought would be the most helpful given that situation.
Yeah.
Rather than just going, here's 4 characters.
Was it Bishop we had who had that ability to go through the
Kane.
Oh yeah, who had
Kane's son?
Yes, of course. We had a card that thankfully was available for purchase in time, and I had it in my hand at the right time, that lets go through the whole deck and kill off a character, which got rid of your chest burster.
Yeah.
But we needed to make sure that there was at least something that would give us a chance to remove a chest burster.
Yeah, we also had the Warrant Officer Ripley deck in there, which meant that there was a chance that if I could look at the top card of my deck and either kill it or put it back.
Yeah, but there's a lot of having to hope that.
That would have been like a last resort had we not got Kane's son.
Yeah.
Luckily, that came up really early. We could afford it when it came up, and nothing else in the game managed to kill it.
We had a couple of cards as well that were look at the top 3, discard 1, kill 1, put 1 back.
What we later dubbed the fuck, marry, kill card.
The fuck, marry, kill card. And even with that deck stacking done, we still had a rough time.
But a pleasantly rough time.
The exact right level of balance.
I died 1 turn before the end.
You died 1 turn before the end, and then I had my big attack and killed it. And I think that's good balance.
Yeah, I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Because, recently we've been playing, and, every game has been pretty much, okay, well, we walk that. Okay, well, we walk that too.
Mm.
Although this was, a standard version of one of the new scenarios, this was the evolution of the beast one, so there are evolving xenomorphs.
Yeah, those were fun.
They were fun. We also had the soldiers, because there are 3 new sets of soldiers, or 3 mini decks. So at the beginning of the game, they've changed how you used to do drones. So it used to be you have 1 drone per player in each of the mini hive decks. And then you stack those all together and you play through, and that kind of balances out the game a bit.
Yeah.
They've now put out, with this expansion, whenever you're playing now, even if you're not using new scenarios, use this matrix to work out what things to put in there.
Yeah.
Because we think this is better balanced. Also, if you want, there's the soldier deck, and you put 1 of each of these in for each of the things, each of the mini decks, and that worked out really well.
Yeah,
we had that facehugger that was an absolute nightmare. We had that little chest burster.
Oh,
that was, really strong.
Yeah, it was exactly the level of challenge we needed as people who've played a reasonable amount of Legendary Encounters Alien and have sort of gotten into a routine of here's how we do good
Here is how we
damage.
solve the game.
This is how we solve the game. I think it helps as well. We played with some new character cards we hadn't used before. So,
Yes.
like, I played as one of the clones.
One of the 3 or 4 clone characters.
We had different abilities that sort of had to shake up how we played a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was good to try new things with that. I'm interested to try the hard versions of the original scenarios.
Yeah.
Because they're not ridiculous.
Yes.
Like, they are little additions to the original difficulties. It's just the 2 new scenarios that are nails hard.
Yeah. Well, at the weekend, I'm up for trying another.
So, be prepared for yet more Legendary Encounters Alien talk next week. What else?
I played a video game or two this week.
Game?
Yeah, let's start with one that I was playing today. I played through some of The Last Campfire, which is that new game from Hello Games, the No Man's Sky people. So this is basically a puzzle exploration game.
Okay.
It is... You play as this person this cute little character. Reminded me a lot of the person from Journey. You're sort of like cloaked, hooded. You can't really see their face. They're just sort of little adorable person. And the implication seems to be you were meant to go on some big pilgrimage with some others of your kind, and you lost your paddle, and you drifted off the wrong way down a river, and you died. He's very sad. But you're, on the way to the afterlife, and you're basically trying to help lost souls that got kind of lost along the way to, find themselves and to sort of be happy again so that they can eventually move through and move on to the afterlife.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to Spiritfarers I was playing a few weeks ago tonally. It's very much, you find all these little statues of other little creatures like yourself, and then you go do a puzzle thing to get to this flame that's within them, and you sort of relight their flame, and they're like, oh, it's okay, I can go to the afterlife now.
Yay.
It's really sweet. Mechanically, it's a visually quite charming linear puzzle game. Each environment you get to, there's, let's say, 8 to 10 of these things to be found and rescued. You don't have to find and rescue all of them. You can, after you found a few, go and talk to this person at a campfire and be like, I'd like to move on now. But the game is very good at telling you, like, hey, you're missing 2 of them. Don't worry, we'll point you at where they are so you can go find them if you want to be a completionist. It's very good at, like, shepherding you towards where content is if you want to find it.
Don't feel like you're missing out.
Yeah. One thing I find kind of weird about the game right now is the game has a narrator. And I don't think it needs one.
Right.
I think that it's one of those games that, like Journey, probably would have done better by being, wherever possible, a wordless experience. It's nice to get a little bit of on-screen flavor text when you rescue someone, and there are little places where on-screen text makes sense, but I don't need this Welsh lady narrating everything I do in a very matter-of-fact way, and very clearly things I know are going on being narrated at me. Very much like early seasons Deanna Troi from Star Trek TNG.
Great joy and gratitude. Joy and gratitude.
It's very great joy and gratitude Deanna Troi narration. And then the creature the Ember who had lost all hope felt hopeful again because their fire had been relit. They were very hopeful, full of hope,
but in a much more beautiful and melodic accent.
Yeah. I try and think back on it, and all I'm hearing is Deanna Troi in my head.
Great joy and gratitude.
It's a little bit of that. Some of the puzzles are... I don't think any of them are badly designed, but I think there are some difficulty spikes in the puzzles in places. None of the puzzles are mandatory. If you get stuck, you can always just go, nah, I'm not going to save that one and bugger off. But some of them will use a new concept and not have a warm-up puzzle that introduces you to that concept. They'll just jump into, here's a puzzle concept, fucking work it out. Really? Which can occasionally be a little bit, throw you a little bit. I'm 3 hours in out of what I understand is a 5 to 6 hour game, and I mean, it's a little formulaic. It's go to a place, find the statues, do a puzzle. They're okay now. Go find another one, do the puzzle. They're okay now. But the world's really charming, and all of the visual design and audio design's really nice, and the puzzles are fun, and it's an interesting world to explore. So if you're looking for just a bunch of puzzles to do in an openy world, it feels somewhat like something like The Witness if The Witness had more plot to it. And I mean, like, yeah, I'm up for that. What about you? What else have you played this week?
Not strictly speaking something we played this week, but
we
forgot to mention.
We forgot to talk about it previously, so we're going to talk about it this week.
We played some Zombie U.
Yeah, we are continuing to work through the Wii U games that are maybe worth...
The 6 games that you deemed worth buying.
The 6 games that I'm like, they're not on Switch and they're probably worth having a look at. Even if they're not, like, great, they are... They're important parts of that console's life cycle.
Yes.
So yeah, do you want to tell us about Zombie U?
It's a zombie game. And you basically end up holding the Wii U control pad slightly below your vision constantly, rather than doing what I think it was designed to do of put it down in your lap, play a game, normally, now look down at your pad and risk the fact that you might get chopped on.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't pause in menus.
Yeah, so this was Ubisoft's, like, attempt at utilising the Wii U gamepad at that system's launch.
At least someone tried.
Yeah, and to their credit, they definitely tried to do stuff with it. Like, as you said, menus don't pause, so, like, if you're trying to loot a zombie for resources, you're having to, like, put things in your backpack on the touchscreen, and there could still be zombies on the main screen going for you. There's, like, if you're doing hacking minigames, you could get attacked by zombies while you're busy looking at the pad. Yeah. I mean, like, they had an idea they were going for. Yeah. It
was probably quite revolutionary at the time.
Yeah, no game had ever quite done what that was doing. Doesn't necessarily mean it's great to play long term as a game.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. I think we ended up playing just over an hour of it.
Yeah, I think we played a couple of hours.
Oh, maybe.
We went back and forth a few times, but it's set in London. There's like, oh, that's the London Underground. I recognise that.
I know, Shadwell.
Yeah.
Not sure it looks like that.
It's a little bit roguelite-ish in that, like, if you die, all of your resources are left, and you have to go find where you died, and there'll be a zombie that's got your backpack, and you've got to kill them to get your stuff back.
Kill your past version.
Yeah, but it's basically a lot of defeat zombies to go where we tell you, then come back, then go to new place we tell you, then come back, then go to new place we tell you, then come back.
Yeah.
It's a lot of not necessarily great zombie killing.
Not necessarily great zombie killing, and not really feeling like you have much agency as the player.
Yeah.
It feels like it would have been a lot more fun if it had been more open world.
Yes. And it does open up more later, but it's in no rush to do so.
Ew.
Yeah, let me send you on a new linear path to explore down. Yeah.
Make sure you go the right way.
Yeah.
Are you pinging things? You better be pinging things.
Oh, are you pinging things with your radar? It was clearly Ubisoft really trying to have a go at, like, okay, let's do something more interesting than just you can put the game on the small screen if someone's on the big screen. I think it's a fascinating game that I don't necessarily want to play very much.
Yeah, and I feel like the PC port of it feels even more useless.
Yeah, there are ports of it to PC. There's a port to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, I think, and where I think it was just called Zombie.
Yes.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, it's not a great game to begin with, and if you take away the gamepad stuff, it stops being a novelty of a game.
Yeah.
At some point we might dive back in, because the multiplayer on it is genuinely quite interesting. It might be worth just a half hour of, oh, I'm dropping some zombies, murder some zombies. That's vaguely interesting, but it is an interesting part of that system's library that I don't need to play the whole way through.
Yeah, and I think having looked at that, and that was like the one game I knew.
Yeah.
From the Wii U's history as being like, this was quite a thing that everyone remarked upon as being like a really good use of the technology.
Yeah, everyone's response to Zombie U was very much, this is a fantastic idea. I would love to see other people with different games try and do this.
Also, what is with the loading screens in that game?
Oh yeah, the loading screens that have terrible video artifacting.
That and the fact that, like, you'll do a huge long loading screen, say you've gone through the sewers or something.
Yeah.
And be like, right, okay, well, the first thing I'm going to do is walk out that door now I've come to the other end of, there's
The game is frozen.
there's some loading to be done before we
Yeah.
can go out that door.
Yeah.
What were you loading?
I don't know. It was clearly a game that was technically slightly rushed to hit launch.
Ubisoft
Yeah.
rushing shit.
And it exists primarily because Ubisoft... And again, people look at that game and go, it would be really great if developers continued to do this, and no one continued to do it. So that's Zombie U.
Play Zombie U. Have you played anything else?
Yeah, I started playing a game called Paradise Killer, which I've been really interested in the last couple of years. It is an indie game that is a murder mystery, and the whole deal is that you don't know for a fact who did the murder. Like, in a lot of, Ace Attorneys, Danganronpas and whatnot, unless you present the exact right bit of evidence that they wanted, exactly the right time that they're asking for it, they're like, no, that's not what we're asking for now, stop it. Instead, the idea here is, go find as much evidence as you can, in a very Her Story kind of way. Try and work out who you think did the crime and why, and you're like, I think I found enough evidence to prove that. Go to the court and go, I think this person did it, and here's my evidence. And if you've got enough to convict them, cool, you convicted them. Did you convict the right person? Who the fuck knows? Much like real courts of law, you only know that you had enough proof to prove that someone did it, not... You don't actually know if they actually did it.
Don't know, not telling you.
Yeah, and the developers are very keen on, there is an actual answer to who did the crime, just... That's not important. We're not going to tell you got it right or wrong.
It's a David Lynch mystery. There is an idea, there is an answer, but I'm not telling
you
what it is.
Yeah, they're like, we're less interested in you finding the correct answer than finding an answer that you think is correct and that you think you can prove. Aesthetically fantastic. It's got really interesting use of colours. All of the character designs are really outlandish. There's one that I keep remembering where it's just a red skeleton with skinny jeans on. He's got a very cool look. I really like the investigation, the conversations and how you collect evidence, and it's really nicely organised so that you can go back through and organise by, what pieces of evidence have I found connected to this person? Who have I not established alibis for? Who have I... what things do I need to fact check still? It's got a really good organisational system for the things you have found, which makes it a lot easier. You don't have to do the whole notebook next to you while you play thing, which is really nice. I have some problems with it, and I'm hoping to push through them. First of all, the open world that the game is set in is too big, I think. Or at least at the start of the game. All of the there are a bunch of NPCs, and at the start of the game it's like, hey, you probably want to go talk to all of them about this murder that's happened. They are all spread quite a lengthy walk away from each other. I'm going to walk literally 10 minutes that way to find that NPC, then walk back to get back where I was going.
Fast travel.
So, there is, but there's a catch to the fast travel.
Right.
You have to go to each location at least once to find these phone booths to make them fast travel points.
Fair.
That's not too bad. However, to activate a fast travel point and make it one that you can select, you need a currency called blood crystals, which can be found randomly around the world. So far, I've not found a huge number of them. Then, in order to fast travel from one fast travel point to another, you need to expend an additional blood crystal.
Ooh.
Yeah, you can't...
Getting expensive.
Yeah, you cannot simply go, I've unlocked 2 fast travel points, I will fast travel back. It's because these blood crystals are used for things like, I might bribe someone into talking about something they don't want to talk about. There's other uses for them.
Ooh.
I don't necessarily want to use them up.
Oh dear.
Because they're scattered around the world. I don't know for certain if they're a limited resource. I don't want to use them up fast travelling.
Yeah.
If I might need them for other things in the investigation.
Oh dear.
So, that's not great. I wish... with a map of this size where everything is this spread out, I don't understand the rationale in limiting your ability to fast travel.
No.
I think that they should just let you fast travel. The other one, and this is just a personal thing, I can't nail down exactly what it is. I think it's to do with camera blur while turning the camera.
Mhm.
This game is giving me really bad motion sickness.
Oh, no.
The game has an accessibility menu, and there is a bunch of really good settings in there, like settings for color blindness for various types. There's I turned off camera shake and head bob, which are usually things that set off my motion sickness. I was really hopeful. The fact they had a dedicated accessibility menu and had some of those options, I was like, oh, okay, I'm hopeful this will be fine. Turning the camera makes me motion sick. Not made any better by the fact that to get to one location early on in the game, there was a big metal staircase that was just going in rectangles.
Like
Like a spiral up and up and up and up and up. Again and again and again. And that was the first point where I noticed, like, oh no, this is... I could sort of manage it when it was, like, straight lines and occasional turns. I had to stop playing after that shortly after that staircase and couldn't... I was like, I'm going to need a few hours before I can come back to this game. And maybe I'll be fine, because I've made a fast travel point near there. I'm not going to have to do that staircase again, and maybe a fresh play session I'll be fine. But it's a real shame, because I love the concept of this game and I love the characters and I've been really enjoying it. I just wish I could fast travel, and I really don't want to do spiral staircases.
No.
But I'm gonna try and keep playing it. It's gonna have to be one of those games that I can't rush through. I'll have to play it in a couple of hours here, a couple of hours there. Anytime I start to get motion sick, just go, putting it down. Not gonna worry about it for today.
Is there like a set amount of evidence you have to present?
They don't tell you up front, like, you will need X amount of evidence.
But will a judge just, like, throw it out? If you can't just spuriously go, here with that guy.
The judge will throw it out if they don't think you have enough evidence.
Okay.
So, like, there's no, like, you have 6 pieces of evidence against this person, therefore you will win. They weight different pieces of evidence with different levels of, accuracy, I suppose. Like, an eyewitness testimony is less valuable than DNA evidence or, like, conclusive video evidence of someone. Like, different pieces of evidence will behind the scenes be weighted differently.
Okay, yeah. That makes
But
sense.
you'll go, like, I think this person's done it, and present it to the judge, and they will either go, nope, we have reasonable doubts.
Present more evidence.
Yes, or, no, we think you've made a solid case here, we will arrest them.
Okay.
Yeah, I find the concept really interesting. I have some technical issues with it. What about you? Have you played anything else this week?
Everything I've played.
I think that's everything I've played. I'm just double checking. I think so. Yeah, that's everything I've played.
Well then, time for this.
Time for this.
Right, mate.
Yeah, right.
Mrs. kicked me out.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
It happens every summer, every year. You get kicked out.
Get kicked out, just don't need us no more.
No, exactly.
No food, no warmth, no at be, just bumbling around. Still, there's stinging shit.
I mean, if we can't be in the wasp hive, at least we can be stinging shit.
Yeah, got a lot of stinging shit to be doing. I have a lot of pent up sting to be doing.
Did you get any good stings done today?
Well, stung a little old lady.
Oh, yeah.
Getting her, going down the post office, getting some stamps.
I stung a small child who was distracted by their ice cream. I know, right?
I stung a small child's balloon the other day. Balloon popped, kid completely distressed. Also went fucking flying. as I want to do.
As you want to do. I stung someone on the eyebrow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Real good on. They were not ready.
Oh, it's because it's been so humid lately. A lot of people, if they're going to be doing anything humid, open the window, right?
Oh, yeah.
Guy coming out the shower, I flew him through the window while he was fumbling around for a towel, stung him right on his belly. I'm not getting any, you're not getting any.
I did, and this is personal best.
Yeah.
Stung someone right in the hole in the middle of their nipple.
Oh,
Gone right in the nipple hole.
I bet that was swelling.
Yeah. Real swelled them up.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Stung the Houses of Parliament the other day.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck you.
I mean,
stung the building. The whole building just.
I mean, if you want some help, I'll come sting the building with you.
Yeah, we can go sting a building. Might go and do London Eye next week. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Yeah, it's great being a wasp, isn't it? Sting fucking anything.
I mean, it's great for the next 2 weeks until we die of a cold, but...
In the meantime, stung a brick. Well, yeah, let's go and sting some more shit.
Oh, God!
What's that? What's happening? What's happening? Alert!
It's
We're in
okay.
a tumble dryer.
Hey,
We're in a tumble dryer.
No, brain, it's okay. It's okay. We've talked about this before.
Uh-huh.
It's just a
It's a
video.
tumble dryer.
No, it's a video game on the screen. You're
Game.
You're not moving.
We're not rolling down a hill. I'm pretty sure we're rolling down a hill. Are you sure we're not rolling down a hill?
I'm sure. We are stationary. The character is moving.
The character. But we're the character in our own story. Be the story you want to see in the world.
No. I've talked through this before. So, look at our hands. Look at our hands. They're right here.
Yeah.
Not moving.
No.
Look at our legs. Not moving.
Gotcha.
Look at torso. Not moving.
Nice titties.
I know, but we're not moving, right?
Gotcha.
So why dizzy?
I mean, the titties are very comforting, I'll be honest.
Okay, so we're definitely not moving.
Definitely not moving.
Now let's look back to
Red alert! Red alert! Defcon 1!
No,
Alert! All systems!
We're still not moving. We're still not moving. We're still not moving.
But I looked at the thing.
Yeah, okay. The character's not moving.
Look.
They're not moving. Look, they're not moving, and we're not moving. Yeah. So I'm going to move my thumb, and when I move my thumb, they will move, but we will stay here. Okay?
Gotcha.
And cause and effect. You know that when we push this,
Mm-hmm.
that will move. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I push.
Alert! It's moving! It's moving! Oh god, it's happening again!
Fine. We'll just go on a bloody roller coaster. Apparently you're fine with those.
Yeah, I love a roller coaster. Know what's happening there.
So, what have you put in your eyes this week?
My eye meets.
Yeah, what have you put in your eyes?
We watched Aliens.
Yeah,
we watched Alien. We watched the director's
the
cut.
film with more than one alien.
Multiple aliens.
Yeah, so we watched the director's cut. You went and found that for us. Do you want to tell people what's different about that cut?
It would be very difficult to go through the whole thing, but the stuff on LV426, there's like more of that, so you get to see like more of what it was like before it was nothing, and I think that helps contextualize the emptiness of it once the Marines arrived, and just how shook Newt is.
Yes, you get to see Newt before everything goes down, which gives better context for quite how fucked up they were. You get to see more of Ripley being real fucked up by the first film. It gives a better sense of like who everyone is and what they're going through before
it feels less like a straight action movie and more like there's a bit of emotional depth to it.
It takes more time to linger with people's feelings.
It has the hilarious "me and my team of ultimate badasses" speech.
Yes, yeah. After watching the first Alien, Aliens is definitely a different beast of a film. It is more trying to be an action film in places, and it's like, hey, rather than just one creature that you never properly see, let's just a billion of them now.
What if all of them? What if we had automatic turrets that just ran out of bullets because they killed so many aliens?
Yeah, it's an interesting going from Alien to Aliens, because the aliens seem a lot less terrifying when you see just, you sprayed some bullets and it died. Because the first film, it never gives you a solid sense of, could you just shoot it and this would die? The original Alien, you don't know. Here it's if you've got bullets, you can kill them. But do you have enough bullets for 1,000 of them?
Well, it's almost a zombie movie at that point.
Yeah.
You can shoot them, but somebody else is going to step over their corpse and come for you next.
Yeah, and that's a very different kind of threat to the first films. Here is one thing that will murder everyone. It's an unstoppable killing machine.
Here is a wall of unstoppable killing machine.
Yeah.
As an entity, the whole of the alien species, unstoppable killing machine.
Yes. And I mean, I kind of prefer here is one alien that's a problem as a threat. I think it's maybe a more interesting threat. Mm-hmm. But Aliens is still a good film.
Yes.
I think it's definitely helped by the relationship built up between Ripley and Newt. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. I think they did a much better job than the first film of building up the supporting cast so that when one of them dies, you actually have a sense of who they were and you care. What do you think?
I
I really enjoyed that film. I think I was worried, having watched Alien, and gone, yeah, when I was a kid, action movie probably would have been much more my thing than slow burning horror.
Yeah.
So I think after last week, I was like, oh, what if we go into this and it's just like schlocky action attempted horror.
I think it helped that we watched that director's cut.
Yeah.
I think it might have felt a bit more schlocky horror had we schlocky action film if we'd just gone into the regular version. But
Well, the other thing about the director's cut is just the sense of just how split up they are
yes,
when they first enter when they first enter the base, because as far as I recall the original cut of the film, it felt like a couple of them had split off a little bit. But
yeah, it spends
not that
more...
there was pretty
Yeah.
much just teams of two at one point.
Yeah, it's... I enjoyed it more than I expected to. I had the same sort of anticipation of, am I not going to enjoy this as much because the original Alien is such a good sort of plodding horror film that I can appreciate, as an adult. But I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah,
Aliens is a different film, but a good film.
it is. Alien 3 next.
Yeah, we're doing it.
I've been trying to find the Alien 3 audiobook based on one of the original scripts,
Oh.
but every link I find to it goes to Audible, so I don't know if it was Audible that actually did the recording. But I'm not
I'm
willing
sure
to give
there are
Bezos
other
any more money.
I'm sure there are other places it could be found.
I'm sure there probably are, but I couldn't find them, and I really looked.
What else have we watched this week?
What else have we watched? We've watched a bunch more Next Gen.
Yeah, we're on season 7
We're
now.
on 7 of Star Trek Next Generation.
What was that end of season 6
Descent.
finale? Descent. Descent was a good finale.
Descent was a good finale.
I had feelings about Descent.
Ha!
It's about Data getting feelings. I am so ready for Data to have an emotion.
I am so ready for cellular peptide cake.
I don't know what that is.
You'll find out soon enough.
I know I will.
We're in the final season. The season that I keep going, I wonder when that episode's going to be. Oh, season
Yeah.
7. I wonder when that episode's going to be. Oh, it's season 7.
Yeah. We just watched an episode tonight that at one point became the Stephen King film Misery.
Yes.
That was quite something.
It was quite the thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of Stephens, the episode before that, we had Stephen Hawking.
Oh yeah, we did.
Actual Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking's always up for a laugh and being in some good pop culture.
Certainly was.
Yeah, I very much enjoyed his performance on TNG.
That cheeky, impish smile.
He's got an impish smile to him.
Indeed.
So yeah, we are continuing to very much enjoy TNG.
Choo-choo.
Too many Star Treks.
So many treks. What, are you watching anything else?
We watched a film together.
Oh yeah, we watched Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Yeah, that new Bill and Ted film after however many decades.
I think it's 20 years.
Yeah. I thought it was really fun.
I really enjoyed it.
It was a harmless, sweet, just silly comedy.
It wasn't particularly deep. It didn't have a lot to say. It was just fun.
We could predict where the ending was going.
You did.
I
feel 10 minutes in and went, yeah, I think that's probably it. I mean, to be fair, I also went, what if that happened? And you were like, oh yeah, 100%, I'm guaranteeing that's what happened.
Yeah.
And it was.
But the fact that I could see where it was going did not hamper my enjoyment at all. The journey was still great, and it was just nice and heartfelt, and no humour at the expense of minorities. It was just a harmless time travel romp.
It was, and also the girls, their kids, Billy and Theo.
Their kids are great.
I would watch a Billy and Theo movie.
I would watch Billy and Theo Save the Past, or whatever it would be called. I think it was a really smart move to introduce them, because obviously the main actors here have aged up so much.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was really useful to have some genuine young people.
Say they've aged up, but Alex Winters just slots straight back into there.
Oh god, yeah.
Keanu Reeves is a bit more...
Here's the thing. Keanu Reeves looks
about it.
older when you shave him. They should have let him have facial hair because he looks eternally youthful when he's got a facial hair.
Admittedly, in the few scenes where you see him as a metaler and he's got the big beard, he does look a bit younger.
Yeah, this is... I maintain the worst mistake they made with this film was shaving his facial hair because it made him look older.
I would say it's less about how old he is and more about, like, his... the way he speaks.
He's lost the ability to do that old Ted performance.
He's got slightly less energy to him.
Yes.
Which I think ages him up a bit more. I don't know if that was like part of the performance or
Yeah,
what. Because
maybe-
I've not seen anything else Keanu Reeves has been in recently.
He doesn't seem this old in other stuff he's done
Okay,
recently, which
so
leads
he's-
me to think it was probably a performance choice
Yeah.
because the whole point is he's supposed to be a bit old and washed up.
Mhm.
So that the kids have a role to do. And I think they did a great job of being the new young Bill and Ted's in the story.
Yeah, and they clearly have a good taste in music because when they were trying to form a supergroup, they went straight for Jimi Hendrix and Louis Armstrong. First calls was like, cool.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure how they knew or had ever heard of their drummer, but
Well,
sure.
yeah. It was a good, harmless, music-themed time travel romp, and I'm glad we watched it.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. You watched anything else this week?
I've watched 3 things today.
Tell me about the 3 things you've watched.
Well, we've talked about one of them previously. Probably about a year ago now, a channel on YouTube called Twin Perfect.
Yes.
Today, Twin Peaks actually explained the 30-year mystery solved.
Yeah, I've held off on watching this still, but I do have that tab there. Is the video just for when I'm ready? It's there in my tabs.
If you want to watch it, I'm very happy to watch it together.
Over the however long it's been since we watched Twin Peaks together, I keep jumping in and rewatching 3 or 4 episodes and then jumping back out. I keep trying to. I wanna take my time to absorb it myself.
I mean,
before
this is
I
why
watched
I
this.
wasn't sort of saying to rush into it
Yeah.
when I watched it originally, because you were like, "We maybe if you want to watch it again sometime, we'll watch it together." And I was like, I had 20, 30 years to get all of my I wonder how this works things.
Yeah.
I think what you might enjoy more is there's a channel called Wow Lynch Wow where they come up with various theories about stuff from the show, and that is very much more fan based.
Yes.
Here is sort of a thought that you might have, and maybe you all want to add this to your
I
considerations.
would love it if you sent me that link. I think I would really appreciate it. But yes, you went back and rewatched the big. I think I've cracked it.
I think I've cracked it, and I'm pretty sure they've cracked it. And I think that the thing was because I watched that last year, and then you were like, "Well, I've not seen Twin Peaks all the way through," and then we watched Twin Peaks all the way through.
Yeah.
And I think that I was like, you know what? I want to watch it again and just see if, having watched all of Twin Peaks again more recently, because at that point I hadn't seen series 1 and 2 for quite a while.
Yeah.
So it was like, let's see how it sits with me now.
Does it still sit with you as being? I think this is the answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so. And having watched that, I noticed that there are now 2 other videos.
Yeah.
There's another one with extra bits. Here's another hour and a half of stuff that you hadn't mentioned previously. So total, there's 6 hours of content.
Oh wow.
And it's people have said that I didn't address this thing from the thing. And I cut this whole thesis down because originally it was a lot longer.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to make it go over the top, but since people are asking about this stuff, here is my thoughts on how I have assessed the diva from the fireman's castle.
Oh yeah.
In the black and white area. She's basically dressed like an opera singer, sort of. What is your analysis of her? And his analysis is very interesting.
Yeah.
I learned some things about sound in old black and white movies.
Oh.
The literal soundtrack. Did you know about this?
Yeah. There was a separate.
There was just a single lights on the actual track, and depending on the strength, you can make sound out of it. It was that's pretty cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know they made records with the same sort of technology. Yeah. It's that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I've learned some things about how those things are tied together, but I'm not going to explain it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really interesting. There was like just that whole extra hour and a half of like stuff. If you like Twin Peaks analysis, if you don't care to do your own thinking about it anymore, or if you think you've had enough, if you've been exploring it for 20 odd years like I had,
I don't think I'm going to wait 20 years to watch that, but I think I'm going to take my time. I'm going to take my time.
Well, if you want, I can see if I can find the the audio versions of Mark Frost's 2 books.
That would definitely be
interesting.
If you
wanted to add that. I will warn you that Lynch has never read those books.
Yes,
so you could argue that doesn't quite fit.
I am aware that is the state of the Mark Frost books.
But they are interesting books, and I very much enjoyed them when I listened to them. The fact that they're mostly picture books probably means if you've got a version of the book to read as well, probably for the better. That's not how I read it originally, or listened to it originally. But yeah, it was a good 6 hours to spend, and then there's another half-hour video just responding to people who've gone, no, you're wrong, and here's why. Yeah. And it's just like, okay, let's address the reasons. Okay, I misspoke on this point. I used a word that I shouldn't have. But let's address that, why I said that, and why I still feel that this is accurate.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this other thing, or a few other things, and explain it, and sometimes like citing things from outside the show, like literal interviews where David Lynch has said, this is this, and he doesn't do many of those.
Yeah.
So they're kind of hard to find.
Yep.
Did you know he checked himself into a crisis centre after like an interview where he explained some things to someone?
I did not know that was a thing.
Because that is how traumatised he felt about having like explained some of his ideas.
Yeah, he doesn't do that.
No. I didn't realise it was quite such a visceral reaction.
Yeah.
More just I'm an artist.
Well, I mean, I think that's part of it.
I think that is part of it, but just to have such a reaction to that, to just be like, I have to check myself into a crisis centre, I'm not well.
Oh, fuck.
I'm just like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Have you watched anything else?
I finished season 1 of The Handmaid's Tale.
Aww.
That is a really fantastically made bit of TV that is definitely tough watching.
Yeah, I was going to say, how grueling was it?
I mean, it's not as grueling. It ebbs and flows. There is space for it to have moments of hope and levity.
Just to smash
there
them
away. Season 1 has definitely like established really well for this main character. Like, hey, they're like your friend, your husband, and your child. You may not be with them right now, but they are okay, and there is still time to get to them. There are some really interesting moments of rebellion that happen within the Handmaids. There is some really interesting moments of hope brought to them, but they're interspersed with some real, like, it's one of those shows where every time that things seem they're going too well, it's like something's going to happen to bring it down. There are definitely some particular scenes that are very hard watching. There was one toward the end of season 1 that, without saying much about context, a character who is suicidal. There is quite a tense back and forth scene that happens with them. There is also a lot of stuff in this that, considering it was created a few years ago, feels very, very forward. Very forward-looking and present and relevant today. There's a whole scene about the whole... this is set in parts of America, and the scene used to demonstrate America has irredeemably fallen off the deep end into fascism is police starting to fire rounds on peaceful protesters. That is literally their scene of... America cannot be saved. It has fallen down the fascism hole beyond repair.
It's supposed to be a dystopian novel, not a guidebook.
It was supposed to be a dystopia, yes, and it's like, oh no, they started shooting at the protesters, and that's when we knew everything had gone wrong. Yeah, it's a lot of the way that it looks at the politics of the world is really interesting. I very much enjoyed a lot of their stuff to do with Christians selectively quoting the Bible to serve their own interests, and how often all it takes to disprove them is to just finish the fucking quote they've started. Yeah, there's I can't remember what the start of it is, but it's a passage from the Bible that keeps getting brought up by the people in power about why meekness is really good, and the end of that quote from the Bible is, "And the meek shall inherit the earth," and that is conveniently left out of all of these times it's quoted. It is a really well put together show on struggling to live under authoritarian conditions and trying to keep some sense of hope and control in a terrible situation. It is... I have come away with it with a lot of stuff that I've been mulling over after watching it. It's one of those, like, I find it fascinating, but sometimes it's a bit grueling to watch just in the world we're in now.
Yeah.
But like, I'm glad I'm watching it. There's a really wonderful scene at the end of season 1, which I won't detail, but it is a very beautiful moment of all these people who've been convinced to distrust each other doing one thing in solidarity that is really lovely. And yeah, I'm really curious where this goes. So I believe there's 2 more seasons currently. I'm getting real into it. I'm binging it hard. Also, there is a fantastically performed character by the person who plays Rory in Gilmore Girls. For anyone who has watched that, she does a fantastic job of playing someone who is not going to take any fucking shit from anyone, and it's great. Have you watched anything else?
I watched that new Hyrule Warriors trailer.
Yeah, Hyrule Warriors. What's it called?
Something.
Calamity. Something about the Calamity.
Something about the Calamity.
I'm pulling.
Age of Calamity.
Age of Calamity.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's set in the actual war that Breath of the Wild. It's a Breath of the Wild prequel. Takes place in the war that we got a lot of flashbacks
100
of.
years ago.
Didn't get to actually play, but got to see a lot of flashbacks.
Well, I guess we know how it ends.
I mean, we do, but I'm excited to play along the road there.
Oh, definitely. I'm very excited. Only one thing I hope for it that we haven't seen any of in the trailer.
Yeah.
Needs Linkle.
Does need Linkle.
Linkle is the true hero.
Linkle is the true hero.
The hero of cookers.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see that the interesting narrative bit of Breath of the Wild in a playable form that isn't just flashbacks.
Yeah, I mean, like, everything about those flashbacks were overwhelming numbers of enemies.
Yes, which makes it a...
Koei Tecmo sliding just like, did somebody call?
Yeah, they seem a perfect fit for that.
Yeah.
And this will be a nice way to fill in my Breath of the Wild hankering gap until Breath of the Wild 2 is ready.
I just really hope it goes the Hyrule Warriors route rather than the Dynasty Warriors route. Because having started by playing Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition and loving the combat in that, I then went and played Dynasty Warriors 8 Extreme Edition and just went,
so
I don't like it.
Tecmo Koei have done 2 Warriors games for Nintendo, Hyrule Warriors and Fire Emblem Warriors.
Yes.
Both of them were the Hyrule Warriors style, and I think that's the kind of style that Nintendo seems to want Koei Tecmo to do.
Good.
So I would bet on it feeling like Hyrule Warriors again.
I hope so.
They've called it Hyrule Warriors, it's probably going to play like Hyrule Warriors.
Well, fingers crossed. I mean, they are going to be the Warriors of Hyrule, but will they be Hyrule Warriors?
I think they will. I would put my bets on it. So yeah, I think that's everything I've watched this week.
That's everything I've watched this week.
Well then.
Time for this. Got a new sponsor!
Who's our new sponsor?
Well, do you like mobile phones?
I do have one and use it frequently.
Do you play the video games?
I do play video games.
Would you like to play a mobile telephonic video game?
I've occasionally enjoyed a video game on my phone.
What if there was one about being in the mafia gangster in that?
I mean, that could be cool depending on what you're doing gameplay wise.
What? It was the pro version though.
You're throwing some buzzwords around now.
But pro.
What are we getting advertised?
Do you want to level up your mobster into a level 86 gangster by convincing your Facebook friends to play?
Not really.
Watching ads?
I'd rather not.
Paying huge microtransactions?
None of this sounds great.
Do you want to watch this trailer that makes it look like the game is very simple and clearly whoever is failing at all these particular tests in the game is some kind of idiot, and you could definitely do so much better than that?
Well, I mean, I'd rather know, like, what genre of game is it? Is it a...
It's a gangster game.
RPG? Is it a shooter?
It's a gangster game with leveling. Microtransactions. Everyone likes a microtransaction, right?
Okay, just say the name of the sponsors we can get out of it.
Well, just try Mafia Gangster Mobile Pro.
I'm not gonna try that.
You don't have to worry about anything. You can just be a gangster. Be a gangster.
I mean, I do like leveling up, but I have no interest in this. Not even if I could be a level 68 gangster.
What if you were a level 69?
No, you've got me in.
There we go. So check that out. It's Mafia Gangster Mobile Pro, available now on all of the App Store thingies. And if you enter the code QNPS134, you can get... I don't understand this structure of how the game's costings work, but I think you get some in-game currency. Maybe.
From what I can see here, it would only cost me 20 quid to level myself right to level 69 straight away, so,
Nice.
Nice.
Inside the boardroom of Electronic Arts Softworks.
Hi. So, you know how we released that sports fighting game a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, rated very highly.
Oh, it got great reviews. Suckers.
Yeah.
So
Little did they know.
last night I flipped the switch.
Oh.
I flipped the switch
Oh.
that put the adverts in.
Oh.
I know, the game's been out a couple of weeks. People liked it. Perfect amount of
Oh,
time.
I love it.
They're
when
all
the ads go in after
invested.
that.
They're in there. I booted the game up. I saw an advert for that program on that online streaming service that Bezos owns.
Oh, I love that
It flashed
guy.
up, took up the whole screen. It was
I love that guy. He's
wonderful.
all the money.
Oh, I know. So,
And he knows how to exploit a worker.
here's today's order of business.
Yeah.
How much can we push this? How much more advertising could we put in before we break them?
Well, I mean, obviously at the moment we have the replays.
Yeah.
And we have the ads going in there, but I believe some of them have sponsored shorts.
Yeah.
But what if we could squeeze in maybe some tattoos?
Oh, I like it. A full body back tattoo for
Yeah.
the latest, newspaper or whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not even like a tattoo. I mean, at that point, essentially, we are just putting that straight on the body texture.
Oh, I've got one. What about super moves? You
Oh,
wanna
yeah.
do a real cool fighting move on the other player? Well, this move, you do a punch, and out of your fist comes, a trailer for the latest NSYNC Backstreet Boys album. I don't know.
Euphoria.
I don't know. I don't know what our ad team.
Generic
Our
pop group.
ad team does all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But like the advert, comes out of their fist, and you watch the advert play, and then it hits the other player, and you do massive damage because it's such a cool attack. You're going to want to do it all the time.
That is amazing. What if we had like someone does like a big kick, and like a huge razor comes out? It's like maybe one of those cartridge razors with the like 12 blades in it, and it just cuts the other opponent to pieces, and then it's just like Gillettes.
Yeah, but that's a problem because we don't want to associate the imagery of people getting cut up by the razor because it's meant to be a smooth shaving experience.
Okay, so they kick them and literally all of their hair just falls off, and everyone in the audience goes, "My God, he's so smooth!"
Ha! Perfect.
Gillettes.
Or even better, we get them to kick a competitor's razor in, and that cuts them up.
Yeah, like you don't want to be this Wilkinson sword guy, Gillettes.
Oh, you are a fucking genius.
I know.
So, what have you put in your ears this
My ear
week?
meets my ear hole places. I listened to an album I've not listened to in a few years, actually. Do you know Kitsune Squared?
The
believe
name's
they-
familiar.
I believe they have also performed under a number of different names, but I couldn't tell
yeah.
you what any of them are off the top of my head.
The name is familiar. I probably have.
Yeah, they did an album called Square Dance, which is basically it's mostly hardcore / happy hardcore songs done in a chiptune style.
Yeah.
I really like it. It's very lively and bouncy, and it's got those good 8-bit sounds, and yeah. And I think that's the one with Lighten Up as the last track on it, and it's this really quite sweet, like, just cute little bop. And also Noise Channel Rock is amazing.
Yeah.
Up, down, left, right, BA start.
Indeed.
What about you?
I listened to a track because it came up in The Handmaid's Tale, and I realised I don't think I've ever heard more than, like, the opening few sentences of it. I don't know if I've ever heard it start to finish. White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane.
Oh, that's a good track.
It's a good track. For anyone who doesn't know it by name, it's that, it's the one, if you don't know it by name, it's the one that starts with the one pill makes you larger, the other makes you small, and the one that mother gives you don't do anything at all. The sort of Alice in Wonderland psychedelia. Oh no, all of your senses have fallen and everything's getting a bit topsy-turvy.
Smoking caterpillar.
Yes, it's loosely Alice in Wonderland themed, but is clearly much more about someone having a bit. Oh, my size is gone, and I can't trust my perception. It's a fascinating bit of music
It really
that I've
is.
never heard more than the first few, probably maybe the first 5-6 lines.
I think that's what that and the real peak bit just at the very end.
Yeah,
Get played a lot, but the whole thing.
yeah. There's a good chunk in the middle that gets skimmed over, and I'm glad I listened. It is an interesting whole track.
Mm-hmm.
What else have you listened to?
I was feeling very anxious the other day. I can't say why.
Yeah.
In a public forum, but I needed some comfort sounds, so I listened to Neil Cicerega's Mouth Sounds album again.
Yeah.
It's mostly weird mashups of Smash Mouth and other tracks
It's a good album of weird silly.
that I have listened to a lot, and it was just what I needed right at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is very good. That's really all I have to say about it. I think I've talked about it a lot. Go and listen to it. It's free.
Yeah, and it's great.
Yes.
I listened to some new bits of music. I listened to... this is a mouthful of a track name. They provide the paint for the picture-perfect masterpiece that you will paint on the inside of your eyelids by Bandits of the Acoustic Revolution.
Wow.
That's quite a title.
Yes.
Yeah. It is incredibly fast-paced and slightly aggressive ska about
Okay.
standing up to those in control.
Quite bloody right.
Yeah, it's just some when you get the kind of ska where the singer, you have to real fight to keep up with the pace of their like they are fucking rattling through those words.
Mhm.
It's one of those ska tracks.
Nice.
It's a good bit of upbeat ska.
Nice.
I also listened to IDK If I'm a Boy by Blue Foster. Really simple track about a kid who's just questioning if they're cis or not. Going through stuff like, I feel comfortable doing X, Y, and Z, and I keep looking at girls and wondering how I could be one, and setting myself goals that I would reward myself with girlhood if I reached, but I don't know. I don't know. Gender, what's that?
What even is a gender?
It is very much a song
It's not
of
worth setting fire to a Wenny Woodland over.
It's very much a song of that period of, I mean, like, this and this and this and this sign, but, like, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. Crack.
Yeah, it's one of those tracks. It's a good track. And I listened to an album I haven't listened to in a while.
Oh,
Once Upon a Time in Space by The Mechanisms.
that's that Johnny Sims.
Yeah, Jonathan Sims of the Magnet Archives was in a band called The Mechanisms. He was the singy man at the front of the band.
I can't imagine Jonathan Sims singing.
Have you never listened to The
No.
Mechanisms? I think you would really enjoy the album Once Upon a Time in Space. It is a concept album of basically modern reinterpretations of fairy tales, but set in space to almost sea shanty energy.
I enjoy pirate music.
It's space pirates traveling around space, interacting with, like, hey, this is fairy tales, but also we're gonna, like, criticize all the bullshit stuff in them. Like, at one point they come across the Sleeping Beauty analog. It's like, oh, you're gonna kiss her to wake her up. No, I can't get fucking consent from a sleeping woman.
Mhm.
Like, that kind of level of...
Give her a shot of adrenaline.
Exactly. It's a really fun concept album, with some really catchy tracks in it. I think you'd really dig it. So at some point we'll give it a listen.
How gravelly that singy boy?
Not
Really?
always as gravelly as you would expect.
I would expect quite gravelly.
There are some gravelly moments for sure.
Mhm.
It depends what character he's playing in
Oh.
which song. He's got different voices for different songs. I got to see the Mechanisms play once at, I think it was Nine Worlds, like 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Mhm.
They performed this album. It was a fucking great show. They've got
Nice.
real good stage presence. They all go on stage in like very elaborate outfits.
Quite right too.
It's wonderful.
Gotta give you a show.
There's also some very good gay tracks in there.
Yay!
There is one very lesbian track on that album that I am a big fan of.
Mhm.
I think that's everything I've listened to this week.
Wait, have you not listened to the new Magnus Archive yet?
No, I've not felt emotionally up to it.
The series is back. I can understand why.
Yeah, I looked at the content warnings for that first episode back of the season, and I need a good day for it, and I've
I
not
think you
yet
do.
had one.
I would say this is the first episode of the Magnus Archives that's genuinely got to me personally.
Yeah.
Like, before I've been like, oh, I've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed how spoopy that was. This one was less like, I'm
Yeah.
having a little bit of a
That's
struggle.
the thing. Occasionally, an episode will just hit a thing that's specific to you.
Yes.
Like, I know for me it was the one about Martin losing his memory and not being
Mhm.
sure where he was. That one got me.
Yes, that was quite a difficult one because obviously got Alzheimer's in the family and don't
Yeah.
have the best memory myself.
Yeah. Magnus Archives is great. I'm not always in the mood for it.
No, that's understandable. So they're back for part 2 of season 3.
Yeah.
It's being done in 3 parts. There will be some more episodes and then another brief hiatus, and then we will get the end of it, I think, by April next year, I think they've said.
I'm not ready.
I'm curious to know how it's going to end, but
Yeah.
big content warnings for episode, I think it's 177.
Yeah.
Gaslighting, very bad mental health professionals.
Yes.
That's
Being trapped at the mercy of mental health professionals.
Bad mental health professionals.
Bad mental health professionals.
that's some experience I've sure had.
Yes. I imagine it's the less light-hearted version of that Star Trek episode from the other week of the... Yeah.
I mean, that's not a light-hearted episode.
No, but I imagine this is that turned up a bit.
It goes up to 11.
Yeah.
There are 11 nights.
Yeah, there was an episode with Riker not being sure if he was
that one,
or
yes.
was not in a
Yes.
mental health facility. That was...
Someone was messing with his brain.
Yeah, that was quite a thing.
That was a really interesting episode.
Oh, fascinating episode. Terrifying.
Well acted.
Yes.
Yes.
Anything else you've listened to?
I listened to an Oscar Schuster album again because I needed some comfort listening. Called Tristesse Telescopique.
Mm.
It's typical Oscar Schuster. Lots of sort of music box sounds and accordions. I would say it's probably a weird way to describe it, but I consider this one of the more French albums. And I say that probably because of the accordion. I don't know why I always associate accordion either with pirates or really French music. Don't know why. Very much like the album, it's very calming and relaxing, and like most of Oscar Schuster stuff, it's good to sort of like I need comfort sounds. I don't want anything to be coming at me too aggressively today. So thank you very much for the nice calmness. In a beautiful, even if it's slightly melancholy occasionally, that's fine. As long as it's not rawr, please. Only pet, purr, soft. Is that everything you listened to?
Yeah.
Well, time for this.
Time for this. Oh, hi.
Yes, we're gonna have to do a little reintroduction to you, as this is your first day back in the office after a while.
Yes. Obviously, we've all been working from home for a bit.
Yes, but don't worry, it's all over now. You're back here amongst the rest of the family.
I mean, it's not all over. COVID rates are still rising exponentially,
You
but
get to be back here with the family.
sure, all of you who I definitely enjoy working with.
Well, as you can see, we've put hand sanitizer. There's some by the front door. There's some by the inner door, by the security door. There's some by the door to your office. Some by the canteen. And there's wet wipes literally everywhere. You can find a wet wipe box on every surface. Don't forget to close the lids again, or they'll dry out.
Yeah.
If you use the coffee machine, make sure you wipe the touch panel down before the next person. It's only polite.
Yeah.
Yes, now if you do find your hands drying out, we do suggest that you bring your own moisturiser in, but don't worry too much about that. Now, are there any questions?
Yeah. Have you made sure that everyone's wearing masks properly?
There are masks available in the lobby, so please make sure you're wearing a mask. Right next to the bowl of complimentary scorpions, actually.
Scorpions?
Yes, we have a bowl of complimentary scorpions. It's part of our new safety measures.
Why are there scorpions?
Well, it makes people move much more quickly through the lobby. They won't hang about, risking spreading their germs around.
Yes, but they will be risking scorpions.
Well, the scorpions are fine. Also, did you know they glow under UV?
No, I didn't know that.
Now, in the IT department, you will notice we've installed some zombies.
Wait, why are there zombies in IT?
They're the running kind as well, not the shamblers.
That doesn't feel safe.
But you will be able to move through them much more quickly, motivated by our motivational zombies.
Well, I mean, the pandemic is motivation enough to not linger.
Well, indeed, you don't want to be lingering. These are our COVID motivational zombies.
I think the COVID was motivation and a half.
Yes, and apart from that, we also have the spike pit. Now, do be careful when you'll have to remember the sequence as you step over the checkerboard cat pattern in the lobby.
How is that helpful?
Well, it stops anyone getting too close to you because no one can take the path too close together. There are the few that you have to hop over. Otherwise, you will just plunge into the spike
You
pit.
could just ask everyone to stay 6 feet away from each other.
We tried that, but you know how people can be. They don't really listen to the best advice. You've heard about all these people having picnics and things with friends
Yes,
and family.
but
when they shouldn't have.
you are the boss. You can tell people do a thing or you don't have the job.
We certainly can consider trying that, and we certainly will. But basically, getting you all back into the office is a managerial dick-swinging exercise.
Yeah, I can see that by the fact that none of you have got your noses in the masks.
Don't know what's going on.
It's all changing.
Changing again. Changing again. I'm a human. I see them every morning. We have cuddles, and then I sits on them, and they look at the flicker box for a while.
And they tappy tap.
They tappy tap, but mostly do pet pets on me, and then remember to feed me.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're not.
It's been months of humans have been here and lots of cuddling and lots of being in the house.
I was very happy about that.
Always always available for cuddles.
Exactly. I get to do nuzzlings whenever I want. I get to shed on them whenever I want. Like sometimes I jump up on their shoulder and look out the window.
And all of a sudden, they're gone. They used to do this and they stopped.
This was mean.
I thought we'd convinced them that the going out in the day was a bad thing. We got them to stay
We
here.
finally wrangled them.
And now they're back to not being around when I need cuddles.
Cuddles.
I miss my humans.
I miss my humans too. Can I hug you?
Although there is no one to stop us getting into the catnip now.
The catnip, you say? Nice.
Singular question time. It's time for singular question.
What is that one singular question?
I forgot to put the thing out.
Did you forget to do the question
I completely
thread?
forgot to do the question thread because it's been a very stressful week.
It has been a very stressful week, but
It's
also
only Tuesday.
I'm very sleepy and I don't mind us having a short question thread this week.
Michael asks, who would you suggest has great covers of bands you enjoy? For example, Robin Adele Anderson, their cover of I'm Not Okay, I Promise by MCL.
Oh. On that MCR note, I really love their cover of Common People.
I don't think I've heard that.
Oh, they do a great cover of Common People. It is my preferred version of that track.
Oh, heck.
Other ones that jump to mind, not a musician, but Ellen Page's cover of Lost Cause by Beck it's one of the highlights of Beyond Two Souls, is Ellen Page just sat on the side of the road singing Lost Cause, and it's a goddamn, haunting rendition of it. You got any good ones?
I don't know if I can recommend them, because I feel like any bluegrass band is going to be potentially Confederate types.
Yeah.
And they're never good. For a really long time, I really enjoyed Hayseed Dixie.
Oh, yeah.
Because I love a twangy banjo.
A twangy banjo is a great thing.
And I've always had a bit of a thing for people doing a track in a completely different style. I think that's why I like 10-second songs so much. Just
yes,
take it and do it in a completely different style, or multiple different styles. The 10-second songs, 21 different MCR Black Parade in 21 styles, and then whatever they did. They did a System of a Down track in the style of Ghost.
Oh yeah,
that I think that's Chop Suey. It's a really good version of it. But yeah, I used to really get into Hayseed Dixie's versions of mostly just AC/DC tracks.
Yeah.
But I suspect probably Confederates. So if you're gonna listen to them, don't pay money.
Yeah, that's fair. The only other cover that jumps to mind, and I think this is one a lot of people know, is Homeless Mustard's cover of Creep.
Yes.
That is the version of Creep.
This is a good version of Creep.
It's there's some pain on that voice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there are others, but I didn't come prepared, and I can't think of them off the top of my head.
Well then, that is all of the question.
Well then, time for this.
Do you know what I want to see more of?
What do you want to see more of?
Social Justice Warriors.
Social Justice Warriors?
Yeah. Alright, Larry.
Alright, Barry. How you doing?
I don't know. I've reached a level of exhaustion.
Yeah, it's all plateaued again a bit, hasn't it?
It's plateaued. There has been a change in routine, and my body is
no one
not
likes
ready.
a change in routine.
I am the anti-Reggie right now.
Oh no, your
My body
is not ready. Well, I've been thinking about a thing this week, as I'm known to do.
Indeed.
So, I am on some medications, and they're medications I will be taking for the rest of my life, as it is. My body does not produce certain chemicals. I take those chemicals in pill form so that my body has those chemicals.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there's a thing that happens a lot when you're on, medications you're going to be on forever, where people will turn around and be like, do you really want to be on medication the rest of your life? You should be trying to wean yourself off, you should be trying to live without them. And it's bullshit nonsense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's mostly able people seem to think that, they are the way they are because they do things the way they do things.
Yeah.
And that if you don't have everything as they are, as lucky to have it, that somehow it's a failure on your part.
Yeah, you get this a lot for either antidepressants or medication for conditions like ADHD. You get a lot of, surely you want to be able to cope without them. You don't want to be on those medications forever. They them being the only reason you can cope. And it's like, well, if I stop taking those medications, it is a fact that, my brain might just stop producing serotonin properly. And, it's not like I can just willpower through that. I just won't have serotonin like you do. I would like to feel happiness.
Yeah, and they'll try and sell you on yoga or garlic or turmeric or whatever the fuck they fancy that week.
None of those will do the thing I need to do, which is literally make my brain make the serotonin stick around.
Yeah, and it seems to be that they will talk about you like you are lesser or something like that.
Yeah, like you are being weak-willed for not willing yourself into telling your brain to make those chemicals.
Yeah, because they don't like to think that it's possible that, maybe they could end up being in some way, quote-unquote, faulty.
Exactly. They don't want to believe that through no fault of their own, they might just not have the chemicals they need in them.
And it's kind of the same with physical disabilities as well,
Yeah.
isn't it? You know, they'll be like, oh well, you've got the you've got maybe a chronic pain issues. They'll be like, well, you get maybe more exercise if you considered this, that, and the other. If you considered some ridiculous thing they've read about once on the internet or heard about from a friend. But it's like, no, I actually do need medication.
Yeah.
Or
the answer is usually, I've tried every one of those things.
Yes.
None of them work. The medication works.
Yeah, there they are, ticking off their bingo board of, oh, someone said fucking yoga again. There we go. Yeah, and people don't like to think that through, as you say, through no fault of their own, that they can end up in a situation that is what they would consider less than ideal.
Exactly, and you get this used sometimes to discredit things like, you get it used to discredit trans people who are on, if they happen to be on hormone replacement therapy. It's like, oh, you're not really, affected by hormones. You're just taking tablets for the rest of your life. It's like, it's the same fucking stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, you for the rest of your life will have hormones in your body. I will do the same, It's just some of those might be swallowed or injected,
Yeah, and I might have considerably less of some hormones than even you do as a cis person.
Yeah.
We know what I'm talking about.
We know what you're talking about. But, yeah, it's frustrating seeing this sort of downplaying of people whose lives are improved by being on medication.
Yeah.
As somehow having failed for finding a medication that works and sticking with it.
Yeah, I think it's possible that some of this comes from the fact that, a few decades ago there were lots of conditions, including things like ADHD, where they just considered it bad behaviour or laziness on the part of children, and these things went horribly undiagnosed.
Indeed, and I think part of it is sort of misattribution of things like, we've got like the opioid crisis in the States, and like addiction is a real thing, and there's a lot of people who look at, say, you are going to be on SSRIs for the rest of your life as, you've developed
a pill. All pills bad.
Yeah, you've developed an addiction to antidepressants. It's like, no, I've stopped taking them and they stopped working, so I keep taking them.
Yeah, wandering around like they're fucking going, do not, my friends, allow yourself to become addicted to serotonin.
Yeah, do not get addicted to being able to be happy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
quite a thing.
It is quite a thing, and people are just...
People are arseholes sometimes.
People are fucking arseholes.
You though, not an arsehole.
I try to be a force for good in the world, as I noticed to you.
Yeah, indeed. You virtual hug.
Yeah. Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. 2021 is going to be the year of getting back to physical hugs.
Oh gosh, yes.
I'm ready.
I think I might head off to bed, mate.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, small sleep well, mate.
Oh, you too. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
So, Laura,
Yes.
where can we find you on the internet, darling?
Laura K. Buzz everywhere. Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Patreon. That's the one that pays the bills. You can find me streaming on Twitch Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 p.m. UK, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. You can find everything I post on laurakbuzz.com. I've got books. Uncomfortable Labels. That's out now. It's about being gay and trans and on the autism spectrum. It's available where books are sold or as an audiobook on laurakbuzzstore.com. There's also Things I Learned from Mario's Butt, which is a silly and serious illustrated coffee table book of video game character butt reviews. It's got a bunch of guest critics and game developers, and it comes out on February 4th, 2021. There's Gender Euphoria, which is an anthology of non-cisgender people's positive, lovely, nice, gender-affirming experiences told in a big old anthology. That'll hopefully be out in time for Pride Month 2021, that is the hope. And I've got podcasts. Pixel Squirt, talk about video game porn with Mari and Stacey from Geek Remix. There's Podquisition, where we tell you whether your favourite video games are great or perfect. I forgot which podcast I was on, and therefore which one I put in that spot. There's also Dice Funk. It's a Dungeons and Dragons podcast. I'm on seasons 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. They're all self-contained stories. I forgot to mention this earlier, but every Friday on YouTube I post a series called Accessibility, where I talk about video game industry, accessibility, representation. On Friday of this week, I should have had go up a very lengthy episode about Tell Me Why and its trans representation. with a guest, Jesse Nowak, who wonderfully guested on the episode so that we could get some trans man input on the character. It is the first time I've collaborated with someone on an accessibility episode, and I'm real happy with it, so go check that out. Also, I'm on a podcast with you that isn't this one.
Me?
Yeah.
Me on the Polyarmory.
Yeah, Polyarmory, tell us about that.
It's a 5th edition D&D real play podcast with questionable morals. Wow, we are chugging through.
Oh yeah, we are.
Chugging through. We're starting to get to the bits I've been really excited for.
The end game.
Well, I mean, from the point of view of where we're playing, but also the point of view of what's going up for people to listen to.
Yeah.
We're now like 11 episodes into the main campaign for season
Ooh.
2. You've gone to a music concert.
Aha, that one.
Can't really talk any more about that, but things are really getting exciting in that series. Things are getting to a point that I really enjoyed. What else do? I do this. I've got SoundCloud and YouTube and a Twitter, and pretty much all of my links can be found at streamerlinks.com/Janiac. That's JANEIAC. The most important link, though, is patreon.com/StonedMonkeyRadio, and I would like, as it is the beginning of the month, to shout out all my lovely Patreons.
Oh, who's getting shout-outs?
Thank you very much to Jamie East, Steffi K, Tom Bowers, Jürgen Indie Monster Weinrich Ferde, product of lactose intolerance, Omegon the Same, Callum Heck the Frick Yeah for August birthdays Turner, Tallulah, Robin, S. Kearney the Great Sky Raccoon, Larry Yelling NB, Keller G. Jane, a Human of Mitzi, Jaden Cassiopeia Swifts, Math Tiger asks why won't Chris wear a bikini because he prefers a one piece. Rob Shothoff, The Factory Must Grow, Jay Unionize Everything Except the Cop's Logan, Conduit of Queerness, Mage of Life, Towers of Inquiry, and Basin is back! Oh. Thank you all very much. I super appreciate you all. If you want to get some of my ridiculous t-shirts, they're available on my Redbubble. That link again on my streamer links. So, Laura darling, sing us out.
Until next time, be a stranger.